So a little story session before we move on to other things.
What is your will?
If Amanjaro completed the 5th part of the ritual, then what can we do?
That is not known to me. If this one, Jero, has done what the Reaver said, then without him the rest of the ritual of purification is useless. The part of the ritual he performed can never be done again. He is the only one who can help us against the King of Shadows. What is not known to me is the motivations of Jero in this war. As much as the ritual is incomplete for us, it is incomplete for him. From one act, he has bred many questions.
Can the ritual be transferred to another person?
No. Another could have performed the ritual were the statue not shattered. But now that path is closed to us.
So I need him to help me perform the ritual.
That is my belief. Without him, then we are lost.
Tell me more about the ritual.
The ritual of purification was the means by which the Empire of Ilfarn sought to protect itself from that which was supposed to protect it.
We know what these are she's talking about, but the conversation options imply I don't. And I want to take them, see if we can earn influence points. I think that needs a little more explanation.
It may seem to be a reason that feeds on itself, but such an act was believed necessary. The ritual of purification was a safety ward. Ilfarn had many enemies, and to defend against these enemies, they created a powerful construct, a guardian. Their wisdom mirrored their power. They recognized that they would need means of protecting themselves should the guardian turn on them.
And the ritual can do this?
Yes. It is said that by undergoing the ritual, one may be able to unmake the guardian.
Where do we perform the ritual?
Know that the territories on your empire are drawn over old lines. This empire had we must journey to these Ilfarn ruins. There, the ritual must be performed.
Tell me more about the Guardian.
The King of Shadows was born from the form of the Guardian. Unmaking the Guardian will wound the King of Shadows, and perhaps unmake him as well. But the ruins of ancient Ilfarn will tell you more as we progress. The ritual shall give you the weapons, and I will hear you.
More questions. Tell me about the shards.
These shards, they are pieces of the blade of Gith. This blade was believed lost. Now it has been found in you. This you know. Each shard contains a resonance within it, a power that you can unlock to strengthen your will. With the ritual of purification, know that these two things may be enough to defeat the King of Shadows.
How do I reforge the shards?
When we have gathered enough, the knowing of healing the blade shall come soon after. And it will require great courage from you.
Tell me more about the Githzerai.
If it is your will that you would know more, narrow your question, and I shall answer.
Where are you from?
The people, the Githzerai, have made their home upon the shifting plane of Limbo. There, thought becomes matter, and we are trained from birth to sharpen our thoughts and our purpose. Cities are built from our thoughts, as all else that encircles us is chaos. We live within the chaos of these planar currents, with only our knowing and our will to preserve us.
If not from Limbo, where were you originally from?
Your question strikes deep into history, and know that what you ask has an answer of many years. This is not the time to speak of it, and it is not my will you know this. If it is your will that you would know more, narrow your question, and I shall answer.
When we first met, you said you were a Zerth. What is that?
A Zerth is one who speaks the word of Zerthamon. A Zerth protects the community from threats to the body or mind.
Threats to the mind?
Azurth focuses the wills of others by using the knowing of our people's history and beliefs to remove doubt and heal one's will through the words of Zerthamon.
So you're like a priest?
That title would apply, yes. But while we hold the words of Zerthamon to be of importance, we do not worship him as your people do the gods of this plane.
Why is doubt so dangerous?
Doubt is the doorway through which attackers will come. Not just beasts, such as the Illithids, but other predators. Doubt is how our people were once lost, and it is an emotion that is deadly on our home plane. The plane of limbo, where we have made our home, is a plane of chaos, an unsculpted sea of matter. Matter that cannot be shaped by tool or hand, but only takes form through one's thought. Many minds united may create citadels no enemy may breach. But if one doubts, then the walls that surround our communities will be as nothing.
If someone doesn't believe, then your cities become vulnerable.
Yes, and that is why focus is important. No one wishes the tragedy of Shrocket to be visited upon our people again. The words of Zerthamon provide this focus, and it is the purpose of Azurth to pass along his knowledge to our people.
I would know more of Zerthamon.
Zerthamon founded our race. He knew the Githzerai before they knew themselves. When our people were in danger of losing their wills to the way of the Illithids a second time, he was the one who centered us and met Gith's treachery with his own blade.
What do you mean?
It is not my will to speak of this more. It is a chapter I will hear you.
Okay, what about something else? What do you think of Amanjero?
He has committed great crimes to act for his beliefs. He has waged war, and he has used the will and lives of others as his weapons without their consent. Gith herself held the same belief. She was willing to sacrifice the reason we fought our masters to fuel her hatred and her lust for revenge. What does one's purpose matter if it becomes that which you fight against? It is a question that Jero must ask before to the lower planes he goes.
You hate him for stealing the Blade of Gith.
No. I only seek to understand his actions. What I do not know is how he obtained the blade. Its location has been lost since the time my people split from the Githyanki. It has taken us lifetimes of failures without word of its presence. I would know how Amanjero came by it, and what else he knows of the one who first held it.
Who? The Gith?
Yes. She took it with her on a pilgrimage to the Queen of Dragons to secure an alliance for her people, the Githyanki. She never returned, but the blade was last with her. How Jero came to hold it is something I would know. I will hear you.
How did you end up imprisoned in Crossroad Keep?
Know that the path that led to me being chained is a twisted one. And the citadel that is now... I journeyed to your plane to see the actions of the Githyanki with my own eyes. This plane, this Farron.
So you were spying on the Githyanki?
I observed them. The Githyanki are hunters and they rarely release their prey. Yet it was the name of the prey. It was said the Githyanki hunted the... I will hear you.
Never mind. I think we've gone through all the options. Java does not seem to take influence through conversation. I might have made that observation earlier, but even the new dialogue options didn't do anything. What about you, Quora?
Great! What's wrong now? Why? Like you care? If I didn't almost burn down your uncle's dumb establishment, I wouldn't even be here. Go on and ask. Glenna's father, and one of the masters
Yeah, nothing new.
at the school.
Oh, hello. Sorry. Just a little out of sorts. have all these thoughts bumping around in my head. They're a little, well, a little confusing.
What's wrong?
Well, it's about Chandra, really. It just, well, got me to thinking. I mean, she wasn't with us very long. And there wasn't anything to be done to save her. Well, felt rather helpless and sad. And the whole thing seemed rather unfair. I don't really know what to say about it except say it. But well, was kind of wondering what you thought about it. You know, death of friends.
I'm sad that we lost her, but there's nothing to do but carry on. Sad might be an exaggeration, but Grobnar is clearly sad, so I want to be sad too in front of him.
It is sad. That's it, exactly. She didn't deserve what happened, not at all. And I'm afraid that the more we fight, the more we'll lose. And the more unfair it'll be. Of course. Ask away. Always ready with answers, yes indeed.
I want to talk to you about Wendersnaven.
The Wendersnaven? What about them?
So you think you found an invisible musical instrument?
Think? Oh no, I certainly found one. It's quite the instrument, lovingly crafted with a clear tone.
But that doesn't sound like an instrument, it sounds like you humming.
Yes, I know it may seem that way, but that is only one of the many wonders of the Wenda Kazoo. I love it so. Yes. Well, it is impossible to truly know the Wendersnaven, since by nature they are unknowable.
Really, go on.
You see, they see everything, know everything, and exist everywhere and nowhere at once. It's truly quite amazing.
How is that even possible? They'd have to be, well, big.
Their size is also a great source of speculation. Whether they are mighty giants hundreds of Kelgars high, or whether they are so small they cannot even be seen with the naked eye.
Where would you find such creatures?
Oh, Wenderitham, of course.
Of course. Where's that?
Wenderitham is up in the clouds. There's many gateways to reach it, scattered throughout the realms, but they are hidden from mortal eyes.
You really think this all exists? Really?
Well, yes, but you see, there's so many other fantastical things in the realms. Does it really seem like it's that improbable after all?
Yes, it does. Give me a good reason why I should believe you.
Well, take yourself for example. You are a living jigsaw puzzle of shattered silver shards that when united will become an artifact that cut an entire race in two. And this enemy we fight, it's not a shadowy being. It is the dark essence of magic itself, with the ability to embed itself within the very land and ground it walks upon. And to think this Emperor of Shadow,
King of Shadows.
well, it was once a simple person just like you, that wanted to protect its people from destruction. Isn't that amazing? I almost sense an irony coming, but I think that might be too much to speculate on.
I can see it, you may have a point, Grobnar.
Really? I do? I can't believe I may have successfully argued a point. Now, if that isn't proof the Wendersnaven exist, I don't know what is.
Oh, influence gained with Grobnar. Mr. Jero.
Be careful with that. It is a summoning circle inscribed here by Garius and his allies.
Can we use this circle to summon something?
With the right tools, with the right focus, yes, you could summon a Beidazu or Tannery, provided you know the fiend's true name.
Why would I want to summon Zaxxas? Padazu, Tannery.
Devils and demons to the layperson, like those you encountered in my haven. Devils are more organized, more methodical, more lawful, while demons are chaotic, wild, almost impulsive evil.
Why don't you summon something? Probably because it's not a minor task.
One should never summon anything without purpose, especially from the lower planes. Doing so would immediately put their eyes upon us, and from there, no good will come of it.
I know the true name of Mephasm.
Mephasm, perhaps, could be of use. If he is cruel, it is a cruelty with perspective, not violence. If you wish to summon him, I will instruct you how to do so, but I will not summon him myself.
Tell me how to summon Mephasm.
Very well. It is no simple matter. You will need a number of semi-rare objects to create the focus. I will write instructions for you.
Talk more about summoning.
Very well, but we have little time to waste, so keep your questions short.
This is a hastily scrawled note from Amangero that lists what is needed to create a golden filigree charm for summoning the devil Mephasm. Faint power essence, glowing fire essence, star sapphire, gold necklace. We don't have a gold necklace, but we probably sold a lot of them in here. Combine these items in the magician's workbench near Grobnar and cast darkness. This charm must be crafted near the summoning circle. Do not even attempt this if you lack the knowledge to craft wondrous items. I know that. So, one crafting recipe that we might actually use. We need Kelgar. Kelgar's inventory to be able to do this. All we know, he might actually have a necklace we need too.
Yes.
Let me lead the way.
I'm ready if
You
you
follow
need me.
behind.
Okay.
Yes?
Questions.
No doubt.
Tell me about. What can you tell me about the King of Shadows?
That is a long tale. Some pieces of the tale I gave when we escaped. But there is more, yes. As you probably already know, the King of Shadows was once a creation, a guardian of Ilfan. By tapping into the power of the Weave, the source of all magic in Faerun, Ilfan sought to make an invincible protector to shield its borders.
But it became corrupted.
Yes, Ilfan's enemies, the Netherese, in their quest for power ended up disrupting the Weave. The Guardian relied on the Weave to sustain itself. Without it, it was forced to seek another source of power in order to continue to protect Ilfan. It found a darker source of magic, the Shadow Weave, and tapping into it, transformed the Guardian of Ilfan into something else. The King of Shadows.
But it became corrupted?
Yes. Ilfan's and the Guardian, it found a darker source
Who was the Guardian?
of a man, perhaps. Who it was, I was never able to determine. But whoever it was, he was willing to give up himself to protect his empire. Give up his sense of self, his identity. It is no small sacrifice.
We have to give our own opinion. Not quite sure what to say. I can see a cop-out option here. You sound sympathetic. I'll ask a question, basically, instead of giving an opinion. I think I'll take it. You sound sympathetic.
There is a certain sympathy I have for such a man. For someone willing to make that choice.
What do you mean?
He cast away his family, his ties to his people, and he ended up suffering for it while attempting to save them. Such a motivation is not hard to understand. Even more now, to see the King of Shadows reviled for what he has done, and knowing that at its core, he sought only to protect the people under his care. Now, its people are gone, and even knowing its failure, it still seeks to protect its empire and, most importantly, itself.
How will it do that?
If it frees itself, it will seek to destroy anything that threatens it. You first, then I. Then it will destroy all civilization on the Sword Coast, where its former empire lay. And from then on, I do not know what it will do. But the coast shall become as the mare is now, lifeless. Its only people raised from the dead to become the shades of the new Ilfarn Empire. No doubt.
Why do you want to stop the King of Shadows?
Why do I wish to stop the King of Shadows? Perhaps this is a question you should ask yourself, since your motivation in all of this has been unclear from the start.
What do you mean?
Does he threaten you specifically? Do you feel that the Sword Coast cast beneath shadow would be an unwelcome thing? All life turned to death and ghosts? Or perhaps you would simply sleep better at night, knowing that a twisted remnant of the Ilfarn Empire was as dead and buried as they are.
Oh. Well. I don't want to bluff or lie. I feel there's a huge chance of it going wrong and biting us in the ass. I think we can give an honest answer. The people of the Sword Coast do not deserve the suffering and death that the King of Shadows will cause.
I think you will find we are of the same opinion on the matter, though I suspect our methods differ. I wish to stop the King of Shadows because he is a threat to not only the people of Neverwinter, but to the Sword Coast and Farron itself. That is all, and while simple, it is the truth. Despite whatever onus has been placed on my actions, desperate measures were required to stop him the first time, and will be again. More can be saved as a result, and that is all that matters now.
Yeah, for the greater good. Fine, I agree.
Now, that is the first piece of wisdom I have encountered from someone in Neverwinter's service for some time. No doubt.
I want to see how this affects. We're getting some alignment shifts here and there, and a little bit of influence too. So probably we can gain a healthy amount of influence with Ammon by just discussing things with him.
Yes, no doubt.
I'd like to know more about your past.
Yes, I imagine the history books have little to say on the matter, aside from my many misdeeds, which is how I wished it. The Jarrow family was once part of the highest nobility of Neverwinter. When growing up, I displayed a certain aptitude for magic, especially the magic tied to the lower planes. With little training, I was able to do spells well beyond my years, and well beyond any training I received in the academies and elsewhere.
Elsewhere?
Yes. You will find that where magic is concerned, one school of thought rarely knows the full range of the art. One should never limit themselves to one teacher, lest they cripple their studies before they are begun.
Even so, how did you gain the power you have now, or had?
Gain it. With the lower planes, the power is always there. It just needs a focus and the will to control it. In my case, it did not take long to master that power. The greater discipline came in using it sparingly so that few could see.
Why did you do that?
When one displays such power, it does not grant you freedom. It becomes a cage and makes you a target. You will be constantly beset by the problems of others, who will see your power as an excuse to compensate for the lack of theirs. That is never a position I want to be in, nor a philosophy I wish to encourage in others. Nevertheless, I displayed enough talent to be accepted by the Neverwinter court, to be the Jester Mage.
That seems a step down from your aspirations and talent level.
To make my intentions plain, it was a position of convenience and opportunity. One of many. The position allowed me to obtain access to many of the secrets of the Neverwinter, as well as free access to the Academy libraries, their vaults, and the court records. Also, I thought that perhaps my position might give me a greater voice when attempting to convince others of threats that beset us. But that proved to be an ill-founded conclusion.
You said that position was one of many.
Oh yes, I had several teachers. Many are dead now through unfortunate circumstances, but not by my hand, I assure you. I sought teaching not only in Neverwinter and Waterdeep, but also across the plains from infernal allies, and even from the Arcane Brotherhood in Luskan.
Arcane Brotherhood?
Yes. Provided one can stomach their politics, they have a vast library of knowledge to draw upon. And I also wish to study their workings from within, in case I needed to defeat them one day. Oddly enough, it was by walking these dark paths that I saw the greater threats we faced. Shadows were growing stronger around the Mayor of the Dead Men. This was due to the growing power of the King of Shadows.
What did you do?
I attempted to warn the court of Neverwinter of this, but they were too busy vying for power and holding blades to each other's throats to listen. So I sought allies elsewhere, amongst demons and devils, and even the Githyanki. And I used all the power I had, which was considerable. And by waging a war, by the nature of my allies, I became something others feared. I even gained the name of my enemy, as you proved when you first encountered me in my haven. To think you believed me to be our mutual enemy. The irony runs deep, indeed.
Except I never did, and it made no sense thinking about the events that happened. The nature of the creatures was always different. The demons openly fought against the servants of Black Garius, who was aligned with the Shadow Priest. Shadow Priests were always about undead, never really about demons. It just never made any sense. I suppose it would have been this. The point could have been structured better. So basically a better told story to maintain that illusion, like it's a realistic conclusion someone might end up with. If you are fighting the King of Shadows, why were you fighting us?
Was I ever fighting you? All I recall is you tripping across my path and my servants. Perhaps if you had sought another means to make your intentions known, we could have coordinated our efforts and none of this need ever have happened.
Do we want to start arguing? Perhaps you're right.
Then we are agreed on the matter. Regardless, that is behind us now. We now know the truth. We must cooperate to succeed. No doubt.
Why did you choose now to reveal yourself?
I have only recently escaped my imprisonment in the lower planes. And since then, I have fought to re-establish my stronghold and gather my forces, which you have ruined with your carelessness.
How did you... No. Where were you being held?
Let us leave it for another time. It has no bearing on our present situation. No doubt. I have only recently
How did you get free?
escaped. Let us simply say I had help in the matter, and leave it for another time. It has no bearing on our present situation. No doubt.
Why was it such a surprise that Chandra was alive?
How any of my kin managed to survive is a mystery to me. It seems the Jero line is more resilient than I thought. But yes, I thought the Jero line had been ended in the war with the King of Shadows. During the battles that waged near the Mare, near Highcliff, there was so much chaos, I thought what remained of my family was lost. Now, they truly are.
Was it the loss of your family that drove you to fight?
This useless tracking through old memories has no bearing on our current quest. Let us focus on the present, not what or why I did things in the past. No
Why?
doubt.
Do you know about the silver shards?
The shards, including the one lodged within you, are part of the Sword of Gith. Its history is a tiresome one. Ask the Githzerai if you would know more. She could no doubt recite countless metaphors concerning Gith and Zerthaman. The importance of the shards is that once recast into a blade, it is likely to have the power to harm the King of Shadows, and as such is vital to our quest.
Why only the silver swords?
I do not know. Perhaps their extraplanar origin is what makes the King of Shadows vulnerable to them. There may be some secret in their creation that is unknown to me, that may make them effective as well. Regardless, the King of Shadows is vulnerable to them, and to the Sword of Gith most of all. No doubt.
You said you completed the last part of the ritual purification.
I did, but before I could reach the other statues, the Shadow Reaver arrived, and even with my allies, I could not stand against him. Now each of us bears the necessary pieces of the ritual, and together, we are the only ones who can harm him. Like it or not, we need each other if we are to succeed.
What does your ritual allow you to do?
When the time is right, I will show you, not before. Part of power comes in knowing when to keep it a secret, and sharing it only with those you trust.
How can the ritual stop the King of Shadows?
If the Githzerai did not already explain, the ritual is designed to unmake the Ilfan Guardian, which the King of Shadows once was, and still is in part. But the Guardian is a shell, a vessel for what the King of Shadows has become. When it drew life from the Shadow Weave long ago, it became something else, something greater. Still, its outer skin is that of the Guardian. We must break that armor first, and once shattered, then we may strike at his essence.
When do we perform the ritual?
We must do it within the King of Shadows' fortress, as near to his heart as possible. Within the Mare of Dead Men, or the Mare de Lane as the Druidess calls it. There is where we must go.
But the mirror is surrounded by a cloud that devours life.
Yes, I know. I do not know how to defeat such a shield yet, but we must find a way.
Once the shell is broken, how do we strike at his essence?
To do that will require the Sword of Gith, which you carry with you. The silver swords of the Gith Yankee are the only weapons I have seen that have harmed the King of Shadows, and the Sword of Gith is the mightiest of such weapons.
But the Sword of Gift is broken.
That fact did not escape me. We will need to remake it if we are to succeed.
Do you know how to reforge it?
No, but it is something we must discover, and soon. I do not believe reforging the sword will require all the shards. But as I have never done such a thing, I do not know for certain. The Githzerai who travels with us may know more. In that, she may have some use.
Are you sure the Sword of Gift can kill the King of Shadows?
No.
So what are our chances of success?
I do not know. Greater than nothing, I suspect. But it is a chance we must take. No doubt.
Yeah, anything useful still. Where did you get the Sword of Gift?
Ah, some secrets I must have. But suffice to say that there are eyes throughout the plains that see more than I. No doubt.
We could discuss a lot of things with him, but don't have the influence. I think I'm taking Amangero as part of our group. Jave seems at least very likely to stick with us no matter what. I would think Amangero is another one of that, but Jave doesn't really have anything of interest hidden behind the influence barrier. Amangero has a lot of things. Why do you have such disdain for Jave?
Disdain. I hardly consider her worthy of emotion at all. She is a blind follower, an adherent of her own people's history. There is blindness in such things.
She has her uses, as do you.
Yes, that is true. She has insights that we may not, and if nothing else, is an extra target for those who seek to harm us. What of her people? Where are they against this threat? We need allies who understand our enemy, yet her people do nothing. The people of Farron are ignorant of the King of Shadows, yes, but her people are not.
Questions.
No doubt.
I'll ask.
What is your will? I will hear you. If it is your will that you would know more,
Can't you summon aid from the Githzerai?
narrow your question. Know that there are many who would know the answer to that question. If my people moved against the King of Shadows, know the conflict would be over, and it would end in the destruction of all our peoples. Yours, the Githzerai, and the Githyanki.
Why?
If we entered this conflict, the Githyanki would turn upon us. And with his opposition divided, the King of Shadows would destroy us both.
But the King of Shadows is a greater threat than either of you.
Whatever hatred exists between the Githyanki and the King of Shadows is a dim flame to the hatred the Githyanki bear my people. It is not a thing of reason. Know the Githyanki will not listen, and know that neither will my people. If there is any hope of meeting the King of Shadows and defeating him, it lies with you.
What do you think I can save us?
I have known many heroes before they knew themselves. I knew Shardas's heart, whose mercy turned aside Vilquar's blade at Sargassa's end. I knew Olis's sacrifice before he gave his mind, filled with well-crafted lies, to turn aside the plans of the Illithids and shield us from a third war. And the tale of Dakon is known to all Zerths, when his loss of faith shattered the walls of Shrak-at-Lor And finally, when he came to know himself again at the pronouncement of 2 deaths as one. So when you ask if I think you can save us all, know that I have seen others with your will move the planes themselves and turn aside war. Trust this. Trust yourself, and even the King of Shadows will fall.
Why do you follow me, Javed?
Among my people, we hold belief, the ability to focus one's will, as a powerful thing. It is said that sometimes belief can stave off death, and if that is possible, I think belief in you is not so unlikely. I must believe you can defeat the King of Shadows, and I believe that more strongly than any who walk upon your plane, and because I refuse to believe in the alternative.
Hmm.
Yes? No doubt.
What was the topic? Was it reforging of the sword?
No, but it is something we must I do not believe the Githzerai who travels with us may, no doubt.
We can't talk about it anymore.
Ah, some secrets I must, no doubt. The shards, including the one lodged with its history is the importance of the shards is that once recast into a blade, I do not know. There may be, regardless, the King of Shadows, no doubt.
I don't think we can ask about it anymore.
That is, as you probably by tapping into the power of the weave, the source of all magic and yes. Ilfan's enemies, the Netherese, the Guardian it found a darker source of magic. Yes, the Guardian, it found a darker source, no doubt. Yes, the Jerofat, with little training, I was able to do spells well. Yes, one should never limit themselves to one teacher. Gain it. In my case, it did not take. When one you will be cut. That is never. Nevertheless, I displayed enough talent to be accepted to make the position. Also,
I don't think we can make it anymore.
That perhaps my position might give me. Oh yes, I sought teaching not only in Neverwinter and.
Humans don't seem like a good source of instruction.
Watered. If one keeps the proper perspective and never shows weakness, well, suffice to say there is much that can be learned. Only when one solely listens to the lower planes does it cause blindness of purpose. Oddly enough, it was by walking these dark paths that I saw the greater shadows were growing stronger. I attempted to so I even gained the name of my and no doubt. How any of my kin, but yes, during the battles that waged near the man, this useless tracking through.
Yep, useless tracking. Put down. Well, I guess we're just gonna try to leave. I suppose I might as well talk to Kana. Maybe talk to Nephasm. Should be able to do it with the ritual right now. I do have the feet too. What I need is Kill Guard. I'm taking sand because I need to give him some items.
I think it is time everyone marched behind me, your new glorious leader.
Yeah. Tell me all about it. 9th level spells. Wail of the Banshee. That is Shade. This is a good spell. When okay. If you cast this on yourself, you cast a combination of premonition, protection from spells, and a shield on yourself. Shadow Simulacrum. Reaches into the plane of shadow and creates a shadow duplicate of the creature touched by the caster. The shadow creature retains all the abilities of the original but is created with only 3/4 of the current hit points of the original, and all memorized spells are lost. Simulacrum has 20% concealment and immunity to negative energy damage. Creatures with more than double the caster's level hit dice are immune to this spell. We duplicate Kelgar. We need it. Okay.
I'll take the lead.
I don't particularly care too much what he's gonna get. I can't use conjuration spells. He can.
I think it is time everyone marched behind me, your new glorious leader.
Can't use conjuration spells either. I'll give them to, well, Korok to cast them.
I'll take the lead.
All of
Do you
you, follow
know?
me!
Give me the shard. You are missing gloves. Excellent, because I think I have
Make your path mine.
power gloves.
Yes.
You don't have
Yes.
any boots. Like ogre strength gloves or something like that.
Yes!
What's going on?
Yes.
Okay. Talk to Mephazon. I wonder what we can get out of him. It's like a evil genie situation where we have to be careful what we wish for. And there's a gold necklace. Without that, there's no point.
Yes.
Gold necklace. Too much. Now. Where exactly is it? Faint power, glowing fire, star sapphire, gold.
Follow me.
I'm
Okay,
ready if you need
we
me.
should have everything we need.
Time to finish this.
One thing I definitely think we need is more robes of some sort. Basic resistance robes just don't really cut it.
Captain, a moment of your time. We caught one of the Grey Cloaks, Sergeant Dobson, accepting bribes from a caravan master. Dobson, explain yourself to the captain.
Captain, I'm sorry it's come down to this. It's true merchants sometimes pay a little extra to speed along the process. It's almost standard practice.
Not while wearing my cloak, Sergeant. Pardon. Assuming the captain agrees with me.
Some of the trade laws are too restrictive. The caravan master wanted us to ease up on some of the older laws. We're supposed to confiscate everything from technically, because some lord a century dead had a feather up his... well, you get the idea. The Grey Cloaks don't receive much of a stipend, and customs like this make it easier on us and the merchants.
And are you sure that's all he's trading in? If you don't search for contraband, it could be anything. In my opinion, this sort of behavior has to be eliminated to ensure order. But the decision is yours.
The praise. While not legal, this is customary. Almost a tip.
Exactly, Captain. If it were a bribe, well, we'd turn that down.
Hmm. We shouldn't blindly follow laws. Dobson did the right thing.
Thank you, Captain. I tried to explain that this is just how it's done.
That's enough, Dobson. Thank you, Captain.
Lord Nesher's tithe collectors have gathered the levy. Your share is here. To give me a report. %35%. Yeah, the time passed isn't really moving fast. Not much has changed. Really not much. At least land security has improved somewhat. I wonder if there's gonna be a consequence to that. At least some change is happening, that's the important thing. I think it was the magician's workbench which we needed to use. Let's see how this goes. Ragnar was here.
So you have what you need to summon Mephasm. Are you certain you wish to do this?
I'm certain. I want to summon Mephasm.
So be it. Call out his true name, then cast the focus into the circle hard enough to shatter it. He shall be here quickly enough.
I am pleased to see you again. I hoped you would seek me out. And Ammon, I was not certain we would meet again. Somehow I doubt that. Despite what you may believe, Ammon, there are things even hidden from the lower planes. Now, I presume you summoned me because there is something you wish to know, Shardbearer. Help me track down a Shadow Reaver. We already have done that. So you knew Amangero before he trapped you into the Haven. We are not here to discuss the past. It is not my intention to go against the wishes of either of you, but she has summoned me, Ammon, and I must answer. Influence failure. The past should lie where it is. We have problems enough now that merit our attention. I will respect your history and the past. Let them remain secrets. Thank you. Secrets do not make one stronger, Ammon. A burden is lighter if it is shared. Is there something else I may help with? Can you give me anything other than information? The insights I share with you can be given freely. The laws that bind me require bargaining for anything else. And there is no need to place you in the danger that such bargains bring. Why is bargaining with you unsafe? When you seal a bargain with the lower planes, such a bargain will always work to their benefit in time. Jero speaks wisdom gained firsthand. I would heed it. I will maintain my connection to this place, so that you may call upon me again, should you choose. Okay. So it's more about unlocking things. I think we'll leave things at that. Not sure I want Quara here. Maybe Nishka would be a better choice. I mean, otherwise we'll have 4 casters in this group. And we have no way to really disarm traps. So maybe 3 casts. We can get rid of Java, I suppose. Yeah, if we're going to go secure alliances, the priest is not necessary. I've received a message from Captain Brelena in Neverwinter. She is requesting that we assign several of our men to her. The city is apparently not faring well through the evacuation, and she needs every hand she can get. Looting and rioting could devastate Neverwinter. Would they be much help to her? With the training you've given the cloaks, our men could help Brelena out greatly. The decision is yours, Knight Captain. Okay. Human 10%, 20%. or send none. Let Kana handle it. I don't know how much we can spare. We can spare 10% of our men. What? That's 5 guys. Order must be maintained. That will help her. I just hope it doesn't hurt us too much. Men will leave on the morrow. So it's Highcliffe or the dwarves. I'm inclined to go with the dwarves. We have to have Kilgar with us. But what bothers? Not sure if Pora is a good choice either. Looking at our options, I'm not sure anyone's a great choice. Kilgar, Amangero, Grognar, Ishkab. Well, we can always come back here and switch around if this doesn't work. Everyone's leveled up, everyone should be okay. Right. Iron Fist Stronghold. Ooh, Shadow River Camp. No outside areas this time. Revel Rax's Forge, storage area, training room, the Great Hall, and the throne room. I'll end things here. What I want to see is if the forge is a shop. Who goes there? None but Kelgar. You returned, and you have brought the one that helped us with those bugbear pests. Good to see you as well, KR. Glad to see you standing guard rather than in a cage, like we saw you last. Again, thank you, Captain, for the help. Since you left, many of our holes have been uncovered. You should go to the Great Halls, Kelgar. Our people built them. Our people. This is very impressive indeed. Kelgar influence gained, excellent. Suits us, doesn't it? Good stonework here, solid foundation. Everything about it says Iron Fist, it does. Anyway, we'd love to see the old halls, but we're here on business. There's a war brewing, and all the Iron Fists need to march yesterday. Only Keras can make that decision. Eh, so Keras finally got here, did he? Where is he? Keras and I go way back. Didn't exactly part on friendly terms. He doesn't hold a grudge. Nothing we can't handle, I'm sure. Well, his word is law, so that can make things tricky. But I admire your courage. He hates you, Kelgar. Well, yes, that's probably true. Was hoping he'd gotten over that. In any case, you'll have to bring your case to him. Personally, I'm always up for a good fight, but I'm sure Keras will know what to do. Keras is just ahead, past the hole to the right. Good luck, Kelgar. I have a hard time believing that you can just walk in here and you are already inside the facility before anyone stops you and talks to you. Been a long time since we traded with overlanders, but if you have the coin to pay, old Reverax can share his wares. The Iron Fists are true masters of the craft, as I'm sure you'll see. Another shop. Crafting equipment. Mithril. Excellent. Weaponry. Hammer of the Wisp. I only had one of those. Mordane's Withering Blade. Mordane's. +3 on hit wounding. Rift Hammer. 140,000. Warhammer. Sonic damage 1d8. Enchantment bonus +6. Holy shit, because +6 might go through a lot of. It's also +6 to hit and damage. That's not something you can easily ignore. We could afford it too. What exactly is Kelgar using at the moment? Black Flame Armor, 100,000. Light Armor, +5. Resistance to fire 30. Nameless Armor. The name is probably too long for this. This is not the original user interface, so it's shrunk down quite a bit, so it doesn't take so much room. This would be the only negative of it. Long names don't really show. Greater Storm Armor of the Earth's Children. It's a heavy armor +7. Electrical and fire resistance 15. Yeah, I can see why it's so goddamn expensive. Only usable by Dwarf, Gnome, or Halfling. Lesser Golem Armor. Medium Armor +5. +4 to Strength, Immunity to Level and Ability Drain. This might be pretty much perfect armor for this son of a bitch. He can wear medium, and we need some immunity to level and ability drain, more strength, more armor. Yeah, but it's 100,000. I could buy this and the Rift Hammer, and then I would be pretty much broke. But I could buy them.
What is it?
Yeah. This would be +4 to Dexterity. That's what it is. So 8, 11, and some spell resistance. This would be 8, 13 +4 strength and immunity to level and ability drain. It's nothing super amazing, but it is better. We don't really have these immunities through any other means at the moment. Greater Amulet of Health, honest with you. So yeah, the difference isn't that impressive. It's somewhat better, and that's all it is. I don't think it's worth it.
Yeah?
This, on the other hand, might be. +3 fire regeneration. I don't think it would be either. It's better, sure, but it's 140,000 for a couple of extra bonus enchantment points. That the difference does matter. Not saying that, but we still have well, we'll have to think about it. And there's part of the Gauntlet of Iron Fist was that it was a part of an item set that included a weapon. So maybe
I'm
we
ready
should
if you need
see
me.
what our options are before spending the most of our cash. Are these locked or are these just locked?
Sure, I can do that. All done.
Seriously? They're
How can I help? Everybody, stay
problem
where you
in
are.
trying to loot these.
It will be done.
So far there hasn't been. There's not any kind of mechanic even in the game that would cause any trouble. I think this is just extra loot for us. At the same time, it's been incredibly rare to find anything worthwhile, so... Yeah, that's rubbish. 2 wands of magic missiles. Identified bolts and rubbish.
Yes.
So let's go talk to the king. There's no way we can just get their allegiance by talking to them. So what do we have to do?